everyone, it's me, Whimsy. Thank you so much for your love and your support of this channel and all of the work I do. It's much appreciated. This is a really, really short remote view, and it involves one of the techniques that we teach in remote viewing is how to scan a grid or how to float above a map and be able to sense or feel energy, whether you feel frightened, scared, how do you feel as you scan a grid or a map, etc. And this is one of the ways that remote viewers solve crimes when they go into an area, finding bodies, etc. So, actually my attention was drawn to the Southwest, which is interesting because I had not expected myself to be drawn to the southwestern United States and specifically the state of Florida. But I feel things are starting to really heat up in terms of protest in Florida. I'm also concerned about Michigan. There's a lot of protest I see that could be developing in Michigan. Dearborn specifically has a large Muslim population. ICE has been very active in those areas, parts of Texas with large Muslim populations. But now, today, I'm feeling like the recent decision by Trump to deport people from Haiti, Cuba, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, etc., Venezuela, that is causing a backlash in Florida. For every action, there's a reaction of equal or greater force, right? This is, action, reaction, right? But I keep getting pulled to Florida. And it's interesting when I do go into the energy of Florida because it's getting hot, it's getting steamy, and there are a lot of problems in Florida. There's problems with housing. There's problems with getting insurance. There's problems with global warming. There's problems with inflation. There's problems with the fact that it's one of the most expensive states to live in. And it is a state that has a lot of support for Donald Trump. And so consequently, when that support comes to an end, it's going to be quite dramatic. So it feels like there's all this support coming in from Florida for Trump. And then when that group of people becomes a target of his ICE policies, it changes on a dime. And so for that reason, I think we could see dramatic shifts in the polls in Florida. The other reason why people have switched in Florida and are moving away from Trump has to do with concern about social programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. So Georgia could be active. Georgia, South Carolina, all along the southeastern seaboard, it just feels very hot. It's starting to also get into hurricane weather. I don't know what Trump was thinking if he thought that he was going to continue to be supported by Florida, because he's not getting supported by Florida. In fact, it feels to me like he is getting more resistance out of Florida than he is from Texas, and that feels weird to me. I don't know why that is. There must be just a lot of good old boys in Texas that are getting paid or somehow affiliated with this administration, because it does feel like Florida is the latest powder keg. I could see some protest in Georgia. We know that there are going to be protests in New York, Washington, D.C., Seattle. As I had said in previous remotes, it feels like it just blows up and it becomes protest in all 50 states. But if you put yourself in an altered state as a remote viewer, if you put yourself in semi-trance and then you allow yourself to be carried over the map to where you feel the darkest or the biggest tensions. I'm winding up in Florida. So I anticipate that there will be extensive raids in Florida. And I anticipate that these aggressive actions by ICE in Florida that we should be seeing coming around the pike very soon. This is feeling like this new ICE energy coming over Florida is maybe in 5 days, maybe about a week. I'm feeling some kind of a flip. I'm wondering if there's any group that doesn't have a problem with a Donald Trump right now. So I'm seeing this activity over Florida. Georgia is interesting because Georgia seems to be more cohesive. I actually feel more unity in the protest in Georgia than I do in Florida. Florida feels like all this division is happening, and it's partly happening because there are so many Trump supporters in that area. New York is interesting. Last night I tried to do a remote view on Donald Trump and his relationship to New York City because there's a lot that's going on in New York. There's a lot of protests that are going on in New York. And I put myself in the shoes of what it was to be Donald Trump and how I was going to deal with ICE in New York. And I felt different about New York as Donald Trump than I did about California. As Donald Trump, I wanted to hurt California. I wanted to attack California. I wanted revenge. I had some kind of personal vendetta against the state of California. I don't know what that's about, but that is how I felt as Donald Trump. However, when I put myself in the shoes of New York, it's very different. When I put myself in the shoes of Donald Trump's relationship with New York, I actually feel scared, frightened, and traumatized. I feel like I actually have some kind of post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think the reason why Donald Trump is a little bit more timid about taking action against the state of New York is because when I put myself in the shoes of Donald Trump and his relationship with New York, he knows just how strong the lawyers, prosecution, and the state of New York is, and that they will go after him. They're still going after him. They're still investigating his criminal activity in New York. And I think that his time in court, what he went through in the courts of New York has so traumatized Donald Trump that I think he's actually intimidated and scared of New York. Washington, D.C., we know there'll be protests there. It's kind of interesting, as I had said in previous remotes, that this is where his career ended the last time in 2020 with massive protest, him having to go down into a bunker because he was afraid he was going to get killed. And so it's weird, we're right back there again. But how it has changed is that he is less popular now than he was when he lost the 2020 election. All right, stay safe out there. I worry about all of you. Be strong. Thank you so much again for your love and support of the channel. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find out all the information below. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.